Hello, J Dent here again. I'd like to talk today about another aspect of writing that I didn't cover in my last short film, and that is the writing of a novel. Now, quite a few people, students of mine, other writers of short stories, have said that they find the idea of writing a novel a bit daunting because it's such a it's a big project. You're talking about 100,000 words for a reasonable sized novel, and a lot of people think that that's a lot to attempt in one go. A writing project, you're talking about 9 months to a year of your life dedicated to writing that novel, as long as you've got it mapped out and prepared and planned and all the rest of it. So it is difficult to do, but there are ways that it can be made easier. I learned a couple of things about writing a novel from Ray Bradbury, the famous, now sadly deceased author. Ray Bradbury, who died a while ago actually now, the author of The Martian Chronicles and The Illustrated Man and Fahrenheit 451 and The October Country, and far too many to mention here, but I'm a great admirer of his work. And I was listening to one of his lectures, and he said that what he did for writing a novel was that he wrote chapters and short stories and essays on a similar theme, and then he put them together into a book and wrote a frame narrative for them. So, for example, The Illustrated Man is really a collection of short stories, but what Bradbury did was that he wrote a framework for it. So the framework was that the man on the run from the circus with his tattoos, when he falls asleep, the tattoos tell their story, come to life, if you like, in a sort of metaphorical way, and tell their story. So within the framework then you've got a short story which is one of the tattoos. So there's your novel. And the same with The Martian Chronicles. Bradbury said that he'd gone to New York to try and sell his stories, but nobody wanted short stories, and he was asked if he could put them together in a narrative. And so he put all of his Martian stories together, wrote another framework for it about the colonisation of Mars, and that became The Martian Chronicles, which has never been out of print since. Now, technically, arguably, it's not really a novel, but of course it is. Now, the technical term for these are fix-up novels, when you take a series of interconnected or unrelated but slightly connected stories and ideas, and you put them together. Another one that Bradbury did, while we're still on Bradbury, this will be the last one, Dandelion Wine. Small town story, and Bradbury again said he'd got an essay about his grandmother cooking in the kitchen, he'd got a couple of other bits and pieces, one about his father making dandelion wine, something else about a new tennis shoes, and he just had the same characters. So all of the stories had the same characters, and he just put them together, and each story was a chapter in what became the novel Dandelion Wine. So my advice is this, based on what I've just said: if you write a series of short stories using the same characters, and then you arrange them in a sequence that is logical and makes sense, and as long as you decide that your narrative has got an overarching plot, so you need a beginning and a middle and an end, but essentially that's how you write your novel. And if you wrote one chapter every couple of weeks, one chapter every 3 weeks, even one chapter a month, you've got 12 chapters by the end of the year. I think you could probably write faster than that. But, yeah, so there's how to approach a novel. Right. I think I've tried it and it works. So it's a tried and tested method. Bradbury tried it, it's never been out of print because of it. So and some of his best work uses that approach. So I hope that's been of some help.